Listen, well, how much time we got left? All right, yo, we got to talk about toxic relationships because this conversation is getting toxic right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why do you think more people are gravitating towards these toxic relationships? Because that's clearly all we see. Obviously, we talked about the blue face.
Can we start with you? Yeah, I feel like you've been quiet this whole
Yeah,
episode.
she been like, yo,
man.
man. Yeah, let's start with you. Why do you? Obviously, we was talking about the blue face and his shorty situation. Why do you think we are so consumed or focused on like these toxic relations? Why do we put these ourselves in that?
I think it's easier to go to toxic than to heal your inner issues because we ultimately attract what we are. So if you're constantly in toxic situations, you're just running away from your own toxic qualities. You need to become the version you want to see, and you'll reflect that in your partner. If you're not, then you're just constantly going to repeat the vicious cycle over and over. That's how I feel.
I knew you was gonna kill this. Man.
You gotta talk more. Turn her mic up.
All right.
So why do you think we people are gravitating more, finding themselves more in toxic relationships?
I don't think people are finding themselves more in toxic relationships. I feel like it's just being publicized more due to social media. I feel like if you think about it 20, 30, 40 years ago, daddies was hitting mamas, cheating, baby mama here. Like it was toxic back then too, 100%. It's just now we get to see it. We're on the outside looking in. And like I mentioned earlier, humans, I feel like, are hardwired to be attracted towards destruction, especially if we're on the outside looking in. We garner it as entertainment. You feel me? So it's like, you see this going on. It's like, oh shit, this is not really the norm. You feel me? Like you're going to tune in even if you know it's fucked up. But I feel like honestly, there's toxicity has been around for ages. It's just now you get to see it and it's just blasted on a big screen. That's all.
That's fair. What about you?
I think we're programmed to be attracted to toxicity. I think definitely media influence is making it more accessible, more attractive, more enticing.
Also on a scientific level.
Scientifically more than ever. And I think it's something that we hold as relationship goals rather as looking at it as, you know, really toxic. It's really like something that's normal for us. And especially a lot of us that come from constant toxic relationships, they don't know any better. We don't know any better. So we just keep perpetuating what we're used to. And it gives us a rush. You know, it's science. It gives us a rush. It gives us adrenaline. It makes it exciting. We're fed a narrative that, you know, a non-toxic relationship is boring. And that's not true because, you know, just because it's healthy doesn't mean that it's boring. It's just something that's like different from what you're used to, something you have to adapt to, something if it was promoted as such, people would look out for it and people would want to attain a healthy relationship, but it's not promoted like that.
That was well said, man. What y'all want to add to this, Drew?
I agree with them as well. You know, I feel like, you know, even as a child, I watch my family go through, you know, in separate relationship situations where I watch toxic shit and I feel like I was, you know, I had to voice myself as a, you know, that type of person or whatever the case may be. Like, for example, I would say like even to my kids, I might yell at them. And now I'm catching one of my kids yelling at the other one. So now they're growing up with that toxic behavior, and then they carry that shit on to their relationships. So we have to watch how we voice ourselves around, you know, younger people, because we are like a sponge for them, I guess.
Yeah, I actually said everything I was gonna say. But I think like you said about it being much more publicized now on social media. I think it does go back to that generational trauma that we have. We don't have examples. Yeah, we don't have really examples of healthy, productive relationships. You know what I mean? Even in our households, obviously, in movies, especially in our community, all we see is toxic relationship. I go back to, you know, Baby Boy, and every black movie always has some type of dysfunctional relationship. So now it becomes like, you know, this is why we always talk about, you know, women being so in love and giving all these Pookies and Ray Rays. We even came with Pookies and Ray Rays. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all seem to be attractive. Not all women, but some women seem to be attracted to that Pookie and Ray Ray because of that lifestyle, that thing, that thrill. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be his ride or die, like stuff like that. And men is no different. Like, you know what I mean? We tend to go for the toxic women. You know, we want to be able to dick her down, and she gonna act right. You know what I mean? Give her that act right. If she crazy,
she really loves me.
Yeah, she crazy. She got good pussy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we make up all of these like excuses to justify us being in these toxic relationships. You know what I mean? And it doesn't get taken seriously until somebody gets put hands on, like, you know what I mean, a woman putting hands on men, or men
Somebody
putting hands
dies.
on. Yeah, somebody
dies.
like, you know what I mean.
Jail or
So
some shit,
right now we see Blueface and his shorty, and you know they was watching it at my crib, and I came home and unfortunately, I just found myself just watching this shit. Like, yo, this shit is toxic,
right.
but it's entertaining. Like, you know what I'm saying? They was fighting his pops, and they was fighting. I'm just like, yo, unfortunately, it is entertaining, and I can see why these media outlets and these, you know, the Love and Hip Hops and the Zeus networks are, you know, going out and putting the cameras. Yeah, they putting the cameras in front of the dysfunction. Like, you know what I mean? We talked about growing up, World Star Hip Hop was so popular, but when you went on World Star, the fight compilations, I used to watch the fight compilations all the time. Like, you know, have millions of views. You know what I mean? All the dysfunction that was going on, and World Star was pretty much black people on there for the most part. Obviously, you did have Hispanic people, but it was just pretty much black and brown people on there just doing dysfunctional shit. Like, you get what I'm saying? And it was eating that shit the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? So
our brains are recorders, you know, we're like anything we see, that's enticing, we want to mimic, and we think that it's right. You know, it's your subconscious, you know, it doesn't really necessarily filter out what's right or wrong, but what feels right to you is what you want to follow and what you want to do. So, I mean, we're just like humans out here, and we're used to our habitat, and what we're used to, we're going to copy and we're going to follow. It's natural.
The part that I can't understand is those, like, we know the shit is wrong. Why are we still so
Because
comfortable?
But I was
living
gonna
in this
say
state?
that's exactly
good.
what I was gonna say. Is like, if you have no reason to change or get out of the situation, then you're probably not going to. You're comfortable. You literally have to hit rock bottom in that situation
I don't
or
know
for
if
yourself.
rock bottom, you would acknowledge it, because people, like you said, are so comfortable. You can't
And
tell
they go
somebody
right back
that's
into another situation in the same
at a
shit.
certain point you change. You have to have the self-belief that you're worth to change.
I think it's what she
you won't make
said,
the
man.
change.
You gotta heal yourself before you start looking for anything
You
else.
gotta want more
then,
for yourself.
right? And then you get what you want to attract. 'Cause right now, you want to attract the toxicity. Because we have people on our show saying, "Oh, I can't have a relationship and a sprinkle of toxicity." My very best friend told me, like, everything going good, I got to start an argument because we got to argue. I'm like, yo,
And a lot
niggas
of
just
people
want to chill. But, you know what I mean?
A lot of people, they don't
sign
know
of
that
immaturity.
healing is work. People want to be untraumatized. They don't necessarily want to heal. They want to, I wish this never happened. Instead of this
I don't have to
happened
deal
to
with
me,
this baggage,
let
yeah.
me move forward. You know, and it's hard. People don't want to do hard things. They want to feel good. They want to be happy. They want to have fun. So
Definitely got to put in the work, man. Therapy in the black community, 23.
Healing is a motherfucker, man. We got to get to that. Obviously, we got generational trauma that we got to deal with. I don't know if it's going to get, I'm be honest, I don't know if it's going to get better, man. Like, we having the conversations.
I mean, happy
but,
thoughts.
I don't,
you know,
think,
they
so
gonna
either.
try-
I don't think so either, because it's like, genuinely, I feel like, especially in today's day and age, they push out this toxic content without really making it clear that, even though we know it's not right, it's kind of like glorifying it in a sense,
Hell
you know?
yeah.
And then on top of that, you see them gaining this wealth on top of that, you know? And it's like, she doesn't, I'm speaking for Krishan, but not speaking for Krishan, but talking about Krishan, she doesn't see a need to change, because it's like, this is the richest I've ever been. You know, all I got to do is be myself.
So she feels like she's doing something right.
Right, exactly. She's getting rewarded for bad behavior.
that
And honestly, I also feel like you guys are gonna be like, "Oh my God, she's agreeing with us," but I feel like personally, there's not enough eyes on her. I feel like people make too many excuses for her behavior, when in general she should not be in a relationship. She has a lot of unsaid trauma that she has yet to deal with, and she is looking for a distraction. And they're publicizing
nobody's
and
holding her accountable as well.
Big fact.
no one's holding her accountable, because
Big
it's
fact.
like the people who should hold her accountable, the people
Are
that who
always
should.
giving her liquor.
It's enabling
Yes,
her.
you do. You said you watched the show, right? Did you realize how periodically throughout the show, let's say whenever she would get hype, Blue would revert to, okay, take a shot. You're feeding the issue. Why? Because it's showtime. It garners in more views. You know, the more toxic you are, the more money I'm gonna make off of her. You feel me? So
I
it's
also
like,
seen the episode where her older brother, I was very disappointed in this, because Blueface is trying to talk to him, like, you know what I mean? Oh, why'd you do this to my sister? And Blueface is like, yeah, but she stole my car in the middle of the night. And she's like, why did you do that? And he's, because he ignored my call. And the brother's
he
like,
didn't say nothing. Yeah.
did you ignore her call? I'm like, That's that a
That's
reason to steal
delusion.
somebody's
That's
car?
That's delusion, but it's like
family
then-
was like
then-
that too. Like when she was putting hands on him,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yo, who's teaching her this?" And her her cousins and sisters is like, "Oh, even if she's wrong, she's right." And so what? Does she hit you? And like, you know what I mean?
think
It's
the
like,
clear cut example of what she came from was when her father was like, you feel me? Like, yeah, I hit women before because she disrespected me. Like, okay, so it wasn't she didn't even have to hit you first. All it took was a disrespect. You feel me? She didn't even have to hit you first. So it's like your daughter's putting her hands on me first, and I can't defend myself. You feel me? And it's like she's not held accountable by the people she should be held accountable for because she's making bread.
That whole family toxic.
I'm not gonna hold you. I think her shit is a little bit more beyond,
our comprehension.
Fix it.
Yeah, because it's like I don't even think she's mentally there.
No.
I never seen nobody put like a book in front of her. Like I'm not trying to shit on her or nothing like that.
No,
I really don't think she's capable of understanding what's really going on.
You are
and
absolutely
they're using
right.
her, and
They're exploiting
They're
her.
exploiting her. She's naive.
Yes, and she just rolling with the wind. It's nothing different from her and the guy that said he's nuts or the A-Towns or whatever viral content from a person that was like mentally challenged or whatever the case may be. She just doesn't look like them, but she has the mind capacity.
And she's
of a
also
person
pretty, so it adds to it as well.
I think, like you said, though, there's a mix of like things that we don't see. Like there might be a lot of resentment from her family, in her position in life, and they just, feed into it just to keep that machine going with money and fame and this and that, and it just spirals out of control.
Which one of you guys all saw the episode with her father, right? Did you see the episode through and through? Somewhat. Okay. So you remember when the brother was in a Sprinter and they were
chilling with Blueface.
No, not chilling. Before they went to the bowling alley.
Okay.
You see what he was talking about prior to, and I deciphered that as, okay, I see what your intentions are about this. He was talking about his rap career. He was like, oh, I just started in this shit. You feel me? Like, he's hyped that the cameras are around. So it's like, clearly, okay, even if you do care about her to a certain extent, you have an ulterior motive to this entire exchange. And I feel like that was the same for everybody that was there. And I feel like to an extent, she knows that. And that may be why she distances herself from her family. But at the end of the day, there's still trauma she has to heal. Like, her family is the root of her. I'm going to say that 100%. The family's you feel me?
Yeah, they both toxic.